Hi everyone, my name is Carly and tonight I am going to be hosting just a little tutorial on YouTube for August 19th Day of Hope Prayer Flag Project. The purpose of this is just to basically show everyone that making a prayer flag is not a really hard task, and you don't have to have a lot of money or be really creative, and you don't even have to know how to sew. So tonight I'm joined by two beautiful women who have taken part in the Prayer Flag project before. I'm joined by Francesca Cox from Wild Feathers Vintage, all the way over in Texas, and I've also have Rabina May from Chasing His Sunshine, the blog. So tonight we're just going to come together and just basically show you our prayer flags that we've made in the past, and just explain how we made them, and pretty much how much they cost us. So you can get a few ideas and a bit of inspiration on how to take part in the project. So first I'll introduce Francesca, and she can tell you a little bit about her and her story, and all about her beautiful prayer flag that she made, and how she made it. So hi Fran, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. If you don't already know, I lost a little girl 5 years ago, and it's been kind of a journey, and I kind of hate that word because a journey is something I like to think that we choose, but we didn't choose this. But somehow we end up here. The prayer flag project, to me, this year I wanted it to be a little different, and I wanted it to embody not so much her death, but what came from her life, and that sort of thing. So I'll show you what I made. Her name was Jenna, and can y'all see that? Is it too? I don't know if y'all can.
That's fine. Yeah, we can see it perfectly. Thanks, Fran.
These are all things that I just had around the house. This was just a broken jewelry thing from a thrift store. These were just feathers from a craft store, and this here was a wire to make the dream catcher, just art wire. You can buy it at the craft store, or I think probably the hardware store. And then I just wrapped fabric straps, and I hate sewing, so I wanted to get away from sewing as much as possible. And
oh, shame. I think Fran's had some problems with her internet, so hopefully we can get back to her. But yeah, she's made a beautiful flag, and what I love about Fran, she's a bit like me, in the fact that we're really creative people, but we can't sew. And so I think so many people, I think they think when they hear about prayer flags, they think they have to sew. But it's not about sewing at all. I think we've got Fran back, so we'll just try and get to her again. Are you there, Fran?
oh, yeah, I'm sorry, my internet's, but yeah, just I wanted to emphasize. I'm sorry, can y'all see it? Y'all hear?
Yeah,
can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, and I wanted to emphasize that they were all things that I had lying around the house. I wanted to, I guess, get my muse going, and so I started by writing. And what I did was I wrote something on the back, which is just, I guess, to her, and I wrote it's like a little poem, and then I got it going from there. And so I didn't want it to be sad. I wanted it to be uplifting in my own personal journey. 3 years ago, that would have been totally different. So I would have wanted it totally different, and that's okay. So yeah, I didn't spend any money on it. Thrift store, resale shop, old belts, old purses. I have, and also books. Books are a great inspiration. I have quotes and words, and so and also I love doilies. One way, before, when I made the flag before, I had trouble keeping it straight above. And Carly, I don't know how you did that, but one way that I found a piece of balsa board that I had in my art supplies, and you can get this at an art store or a craft store, and they're like less than $1, I think. And so you just glue gun the fabric over it, and so just pull a piece over it and then glue gun. So it helps it stay straight, and so that's one thing that I changed this year. So I think that's everything about mine that I thought of to say. But yeah,
I'm so
it was
glad.
a lot of fun.
Sorry, yeah, I'm so glad that you said that about how you wanted her prayer flag to be, and I think for me, I'm kind of similar, and you know, when I made Christian's prayer flag the first time, which was 2 years ago, or is it three? Oh, I'm tired. This is the third year now, but his prayer flag was all about it was about him, and it was the sadness that I felt at that time. And you're right, like a couple of years ago is a whole different experience. And I think that's the beauty of the Prayer Flag Project is that if you join each year, you kind of it's like a document of your grief journey and where you were at that particular year and that time. So I think it's really beautiful that you've gone with your heart and where you are right now, and it just it captures the whole journey for you personally just perfectly. So I think that's something else that I wanted to get across, and that's just make it however you want. There's no I think the only restrictions we really put on there was like a kind of like a guideline for the size of it, and that's not so much because we want people to have it perfect, but it's more if everyone has the same sort of size and shape, and it's kind of we're unified, and there's so many different stories, but we're all here for the same reason. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that. But I'll just quickly say, you were asking me how I got my prayer flag straight at the top, and it's so funny. I actually gotta hold that up, but it's actually just a branch from a tree.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and it was actually from his rose bush, and because it was funny at this time of the year down in Australia, it's a time of year where you have to prune all your roses back, and so I did that, and I just got this long stem, so it's off his rose tree, and I just chopped all the little thorns off, and I used that to hold up the flag. But anyway, Rabina, we would love to hear about you. Before I introduce you, I just want to tell everyone that Rabina was one of the first people to take part in the Prayer Flag Project back in 2012. The first one that I ever did, I actually asked people to send prayer flags to me from all over the world, and we hung them all up at the end of year remembrance ceremony that we have for all the babies and children. And Rabina's was one of the first women to actually send me a flag, and honestly, when I received your flag, like I just burst into tears because it was just the most amazing work of art, and I just felt like, I couldn't believe that you had put all this time and effort into it, and you've just given it away the way you did. And I remember when I got to meet you back in, oh goodness, was that 2013? 2012? I'm not sure. It wasn't that long after the ceremony, but I got to meet you at the Sids and Kids Brisbane gathering that they had there when I arrived. And I think I brought the flag back to you, and because I just felt like you should have it back, and because I was seeing you again. And you just said, no, like you keep it, and it's supposed to be there with you at the beach. And I was just like, that's so amazing that you can just give something away that you put so much time and effort into. And so I took it home with me again, and I've still got it here. So please tell us a bit about the beautiful flags that you've made, and also if you can maybe have a chat about your blog, about how I saw you've put a tutorial up there, and you've even got a paper bag prayer flag on there and how to make one of those. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you as well.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's a real honour when Carly Facebook chatted me and asked me to be a part of it. I just felt so blessed, and I guess part of the ways that I get to keep my little boy's memory alive. We lost Xavier to SIDS in 2012. So the first prayer flag project launched not that long after he actually died, and I think it was the answer to something I was really looking for. I do so, and I guess I had imagined I'd be making him, hats and booties and toys, but that wasn't our journey with Xavier. But the fact that I could still make him something beautiful was a bit of a revelation, and I think it was the first thing I did that really felt like healing, was starting to make that flag. And then I got a bit carried away, I think, because I just kept making them. So behind me, I don't know if you can see, I'll just move out of shot. So see, I made a whole bunch of them, and I embroidered words that meant things to me. And they normally hang on my veranda and they catch the breeze and they look really, really beautiful. Yeah, and they are a bit of a tribute to Xavier, as is my blog, Chasing His Sunshine. And as Carly said, I did a bit of a tutorial because even though I like to sew, I know not everybody does. So I do have some ideas for people who don't like to sew as well. This one does have a little bit of sewing in it, but the main idea you don't need a sewing machine for. Let's see, you can see that. That image there, actually Xavier's footprint, real size of Xavier's footprint. He was only 2 weeks old when he passed away. And the way I did that was you can do it with a sticker transfer, but the way I did it was I ironed on freezer paper onto a piece of fabric, and then you can put it through your colour inkjet. Do look up a tutorial on how to do it though, because it's really important to get them exactly the same size so you don't ruin your printer. I don't want anyone to ruin their printer. And then I just put some stitching through it because I liked the look of that. The one that I made for this year, because Xavier's birthday and anniversary do fall around the launch of the project, I will be making one each year as his birthday present. So he would have been 2. So I've used this lace in all of my flags, and the good thing about lace is this sort of lace you don't need to hem or anything like that, you can just cut around it. This year I added some seashells that I found on the beach. The feathers are just from a craft store, they weren't expensive or anything like that. This lace I actually just had in a fabric stash. Don't know if you can see very well, but there's a bit of organza that I've sewn on here with feathers behind it, and then just a little thing for his 2nd birthday. I can't believe you'd be 2. It's so far away from my memories of you, which is hard. Is sort of how I feel. It's hard to imagine him as a toddler because that's not really my relationship with him, but I'm grateful to have a relationship with him. And then Carly talked about the paper bag one. So that was me just trying to literally use very cheap things from around the house. So that's this one here. So basically I just got a paper bag, folded it back into about the right dimensions. I had some paper doilies which I stuck on there, and then this was just printed out on some card and glued on. So, you know, that didn't take me long, and probably about 5 cents worth of materials there, I'd say.
That is amazing. That's the most innovative pro flag I think I've seen, Ravina. That's just amazing. Your prayer flag for this year is just so amazing, and each one they have this theme like of grace through them, and it's just I remember, I don't know where I saw the photos actually, maybe you put them up on Facebook, but it was oh sorry, my phone's ringing, of course, my goodness, sorry. It was of the prayer flags in the veranda and the sunlight coming in the afternoon, and it was just so gorgeous. And I think we've had a few people asking about how to weatherproof prayer flags, and I honestly don't think that you can. I received one back in 2012, and there's something on here. I think she must have known that they were going to be at the beach, and she wanted the wording on her flag to stay, to not be messed up or anything. I think this is, I'm not sure if you can see that properly. I think the baby's name is Soraya. I apologize with my whole heart if I've got the pronunciation of that name wrong. But what she's actually done is she's laminated certain parts of the flag and and glued them on. So the baby's name, her date of birth, a message from her parents is all laminated so that it will stay protected. So I know that there are quite a few people that do want to have their prayer flags hung outside permanently. I received an email from a lovely woman up in the Arctic who was saying she's not quite sure how she's going to do it. And so I basically just said, you don't have to hang them outside all year. You don't even have to hang them outside at all. Wherever you want to place your prayer flag, whether it's in your bedroom or in your living room, or if you want to take them to the park or to the beach, whatever you would like to do, it's completely up to you. You have, creative license to do whatever you would like here. Rabina, have you said everything that you wanted to say before I so rudely cut you off?
Oh, what you were just saying then, actually, about weatherproofing them. Mine are certainly not as pristine as they were when I first did them, and I kind of like that. I think the whole idea behind the original Tibetan prayer flags is that they would get worn away eventually with time, and it would sort of be the symbolism of the wishes being, going to the wind. And I like that the flags are changing and taking on that patina of time. I think it is quite a nice metaphor for, what you do go through in grief, and I think they become more beautiful. So I'm quite happy not to have them weatherproof in any way.
I think that's so beautiful. I feel the same, and I'll show you my. I've got so many prayer flags around me that I can't see. Okay, this is the first one that I made, and this is you'll be able to tell that this has had some weather because this one has been hung outside. And you can see down here it's frayed and it's not real, you can see it's glued because it's kind of coming apart in different places and whatnot. But this is the first flag that I made, and I made it, everything that is on the flag I actually made from things that I had at home, which was kind of crazy because I don't sew, but I do have material for some reason. So my flag was literally just cut and paste, and because I can't sew, my mum actually did stitch the top for me, so that I could thread the branch through the top and hang it up. But everything was like this here was just from, do I have one around me? It was just from a Woolworths environment bag. So it's just one of these, literally cut into shape, and then everything else was pasted on. But I wanted to make it for the first one because obviously, I mean, if you know anything about my work, I'm very much Christian is at the beach for me, so that's where he is. And so I had to make it about the ocean and the sea, and so it's all, just pieces of this starfish was given to me by a friend that lives a few hours south of me. She gave me actually a whole stack of starfish, and so I placed one on the prayer flag. And I've always wanted to maybe have a starfish in each one of my flags. And then last year, I'm just going to share this. This one is a bit crazy. It's got a lot happening. But it's just basically the same. I did the same thing. I literally cut material. Whoa, it's so big. This one's bigger, and I totally didn't follow the rules of this one because I just went a bit nuts. But it's stitched up the top. My mum stitched it for me because she's so amazing. I love her. And I love Rabina. I think the flag that you sent me, it had the ribbons hanging from the bottom. And I just loved this was inspired by Xavier's flag because seeing his flags on the veranda and just the wind blowing through them and the sunlight catching them, and just it was so breathtakingly beautiful. So these have just got all long ribbons that I had at my house, although obviously I did buy them at some stage. So all up, I think this flag, when I kind of added it up, it cost me like $12 to make. But I just got, these were little pearls from just a necklace that I bought, obviously not real pearls, otherwise it wouldn't cost me $12 to make. But I've just put a whole heap of glue in the shape the C for his first name, and then I've just put them into place and let it set overnight because sometimes glue takes a while to set. And then I didn't hang it upright for a few days just because you know, things can fall out of shape if they're heavy, and this is a really heavy flag because it's got I've threaded some shells on there, and this one has a starfish as well. And I've also got some mirror pieces here because when the sun catches the mirror, there's little bright white lights that go around our house. And I actually have this one. I have both of them hanging up all year in windows. So the sun catches them, and the little lights go around the room, and I just think of him every time that happens. And it doesn't bring me any sadness. And I know I can say that I'm 7 years out from my journey, so it's a lot easier for me to say that I don't feel any sadness because I know that a lot of people do when they look at their flags. And then these are just little feathers that I wanted to add because the girls really love feathers, and so they asked if they could put some feathers on, so we put some feathers on the side. And then also, when I went away at Christmas time, I brought some bells to go as well. So now we hear the bells and we see the lights, and it's just, you know, I just love it because people come over to my house and they're like, oh my goodness, that's beautiful, what's that for? And usually most people know what it's for because they know my story, but new friends or, you know, girls that come over to play with my girls from school, they ask, and so I tell them. But I just have to look at my little notebook just to make sure that I'm getting to everything. So yeah, I think we've covered that you really don't need to have any money to participate in this. I know I had one girl say that it wasn't in her budget to participate, and that she couldn't afford to do it, and I was just mortified. I thought, oh my goodness, the fact that I've put this project together and people are thinking that it's not something that they can do because they don't have the money to do it, I was so sad. So this is just one little idea that I have, and this is for people that cannot literally afford to go to the shop and buy any material. I bought this print from lovely Francesca. They can't see it. I'm going to have to hold it right back. And this is also for all the women in the infertility community who've never been able to fall pregnant or have never been able to keep a baby, because we invite them to join in too. But this is Francesca's beautiful quote. A parent is not defined by the number of children you can see, but by the love that they hold in their heart. And this is just an example. This is on a piece of card, but you could just write it on a piece of paper or write your own message or your baby's name or whatever you need to do. And then you just need a piece of string, which I'm going to see if I can do it with this one, and a couple of pegs, and that's it. I'm just trying to do this here. It probably looks funny because you can't see what I'm doing, but yeah. Okay, and so we've got that there. And so if you were to put that up somewhere in your house and just hang it up, or put it in a frame and put it next to a candle and light a candle on August 19th, that is perfect. And you don't need to be creative. You can simply write something on a piece of paper, a message, your baby's name. It might just have your baby's name or just a few simple words. Anything that will bring some joy to your heart or felt like that you've done something in memory of your baby. Anything that brings healing to you is good enough. This is not a competition for who is the most creative and who makes the most magnificent prayer flag. It's just about honouring your own journey and the memory of your child, and sharing that with others. And in doing that, we're hoping that we're going to get some recognition for this cause, and so that people don't have to be so silent about going through the death of their baby. Fran, while I've got you here, while your internet's working, is there anything that you wanted to add?
Not that I can think. I think, well, one of the things that I think would be a good thing to think, you have the starfish, and some of it was breaking up, so I'm sorry if I missed it, but I think it's good to find a symbol of either your child or your grief journey, or however you want to start your flag, or whatever you want it to represent. And like for mine, it was the feather. it wasn't the feather a few years ago, but I think it's important to, if you're having a hard time getting it going, and like you don't feel like you're creative or whatever, I think that everyone can kind of find a word or a symbol where they can just start their flag and go from there. So that's all I think I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think, thank you for saying that, because that's such an amazing point. And I'm just going to show a few flags that I was sent back in 2012. And these have all got some sort of symbol on them. So, and that can, you know, yeah, like that's such a perfect thing to mention, Fran. This one here, it's got butterflies. This is my friend Keelan. She made it for her son Tig. And this one was just, I think this was just an iron-on transfer, but it's just the most simple prayer flag. It's just got ribbon around the edges that she's glued on. It's got his name and a few butterflies. So that was just, I think people get, you know, they get carried away and think they have to make this, you know, really intricate flag, but just something as simple as that is so beautiful. This is a beautiful whale, and it's for a baby called Calypso. Her mother is just so amazing, and I loved that she made this obviously, her baby is named after the ocean as well, and so she put a whale on there, which is gorgeous. It's got some seashells that she's glued on. This is a beautiful one. I love this one, the little Lion, and it's just a tree. It's so simple, only a few colours, and I think it's also lovely to only have a few colours. This one is so striking. I think we used this in the video that we made. It's just beautiful. This one we definitely used in there. So I spoke it to her mother. This is for Claire. It's just got a beautiful heart. And I just think that symbolises so much, just to have a simple heart like that. And this is just simply, I think this is all just glued. Yeah, just literally cut and paste. So it's really easy. This one here is beautiful Mandela. And I think this is all painted. So that's beautiful. This is one that I made as well. This is just a peace dove. I actually made, that was the first year that we did it, and I actually made that for all the babies. And have I got another one? Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to speak about. And a few people have asked, can their children, like siblings, take part? And the answer is, of course they can. So I'm going to share this flag. And this is my eldest daughter, Scarlett. She drew this when she was 6, I think. And she wanted to know if there would be a zoo in heaven. And I said, I think there would definitely be a zoo, but I don't think there would be, the animals wouldn't be enclosed, they'd just be around, just for you to be with. And so she drew, kind of looks like, I think she must have been watching a lot of Madagascar, because it's kind of like all the characters from that film. But she always says that she imagines that Christian would have a really beautiful apple tree. And I said, well, why don't you draw an apple tree? So she did that herself, and she was so proud of it. And I thought, you know, at the time, when I was coming up with the idea, I didn't really even think about siblings, and I didn't think about how that would be healing for them. But it allowed her to be creative and for her to express her own grief and how she felt about Christian, and she did something beautiful for him. So that was really rewarding for me to see her doing that as well. So yeah, if you want to get your children involved, if they're happy to do that, please do that, and share the photos of them with their flags. We'd love to see them. And so yeah, I basically think, I hope we've covered quite a bit here. I hope if you haven't had any inspiration so far on the event page, under this video, I'm going to share the link to the albums that I have on my Facebook page. There's 350 flags for you to look at, and they've all got different symbols, and they're all for different names and different babies, and it's just the most amazing thing. I think it took me like 5 months to actually photograph them all. I had no idea that wind would play such a huge factor when you're trying to photograph something. So yeah, I'll put the link up there so you can go there and have a look through those. Another thing is that I just don't want anyone to feel like they have to complete this project by August 19th. If this is such an emotional experience for you that you feel that you can't finish it, or it's too hard, or you're not enjoying it, or it's making you feel worse, please don't feel that you have to do it. There's no one is going to make you feel bad for that. So the thing here is that you must look after yourself first. You can come back to a prayer flag and make it at a later date. You can make it at any time of the year. The date is there just for us to all show them on the same day and have them all hanging around the world at the same time, so that our babies' names can be taken to the breeze and all over the world. And so yeah, please don't feel pressured to finish this by August 19th. You don't have to sign up. There's no place where you have to sign up and register or anything like that. There is, however, a spot on my website that I would love you to just enter where you're from, just so that we can see. And at the end of the project, I'd love to be able to put the final map up to show how many people took part, and in all the different cities around the world. We've got people coming in from everywhere at the moment. So I think we've got 1,700 names that have already let us know where they're joining from. So it's just such an amazing experience to be involved in. I'm just so grateful that everyone has wanted to jump on board. So I hope I haven't forgotten anything. Yeah, oh no, Fran, you did mention that before, I think, about how you don't have to send the prayer flags anyway this year. So yeah, that was just the first year where I asked people to send prayer flags to us for our beach ceremony that we hold each year, and we place them up there. But this, from now on, it's just basically you make your prayer flag and you get to keep it at home. So I think it'd be really, if you enjoy the experience, and I'm not saying that everyone will, this is just me personally. I love doing it, and I can only share what I love doing. So, but if you want to join each year and make a new flag each year and share your journey, that would be really wonderful. But you don't have to sign up or anything like that, and you don't have to send your flags anywhere. You can keep them. So was there anything else that you girls wanted to say before we finish up?
I think back on just the materials and things like that, don't limit yourself just, going to Spotlight or something like that, because that probably is the most expensive way to do it. Do look around what you've got at home. Even for ribbons, it would be, beautiful to include ribbons that, may have been on baby shower gifts or things like that, things that have meaning. And the other thing is that a lot of the time you can get really beautiful things from those not terribly expensive jewellery stores that seem to go on sale all the time, and then you can just take the jewellery apart and use the bits and pieces on that. That's generally quite a bit cheaper than buying all the beads.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did for my flag with the sea with the pearls. I went to a really cheap jewellery store. Well, I wouldn't say it was a really cheap jewellery store, but it was on sale, and it was a $9 like bracelet. And yeah, and that was the most expensive part of the flag. The flag came to like $12, and that was the most expensive part. So, but yeah, you don't have to. I would advise, yeah. I mean, for people in Australia, you can go to Spotlight, but they tend to be quite pricey. So, we had a few women send flags to us that they had used material from the clothing that they wore when they were in labour, and we had some baby blankets and things like that. And I just remembered crying for hours over them because I couldn't believe that they would send that away, and so it must have meant a lot to them to do that. So yeah, take your time, and if you don't get your flag finished by August 19th, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Just do whatever you feel comfortable with, and if you don't want to share your flag, if you want to keep it private, just do that. There's nothing to say that you have to share it online and on social media. As much as that it's great for raising awareness, the main thing here is self-care and healing and doing what's right for yourself. So don't feel pressured to do anything that you don't want to do. We're really relaxed with all this sort of thing. So I just want to say the biggest thanks to you girls, Fran and Rabina, because I gave you half a day's notice to join me on this thing, and you're both so wonderful. And I just, I'm just really blessed to have you here doing this and helping others. So I'm going to be around to answer any questions under this video on YouTube or on the event page or on my Facebook page. So if anyone does have any questions that I haven't addressed at the actual website, I'm sure these girls would be more than happy to answer you as well if you have a question specifically for them. So please ask. And I think that's about it. So thank you for joining me, girls, and I hope this video kind of helps everyone and makes everyone a little bit more relaxed with the process, because we don't want anyone to be feeling stressed. So thanks for joining us, and I think we'll be doing another hangout on the actual day. So we'll speak to you all then, but bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.